Welcome back on PACIS TV, the #1 Catholic television in Africa. This is the time for the news in English. My name is Benjamin Kwizera, and these are the top stories. Five years after the death of Father RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU, Americans who knew him remember his love for Jesus and the commitment to reconciliation. Rwanda and South Africa are set to hold the high-level talks aimed at improving relations between the two countries after years of diplomatic tensions. The governor of southern province of Rwanda, Adise Kayitesi, reminded the Rwandans that they have responsibility to preserve their national unity. In international news, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV said that climate crisis goes far beyond environmental concerns, is closely linked to social, ethical, and economic challenges. Welcome to our news in detail. 5 years after the passing of Father RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU, Americans who lived with him before during his illness in the United States of America have reflected on his life, saying that what they admire most about him was his deep love for Jesus and his dedication promoting unity and reconciliation. Monica from America, living in Chicago, is one of Ubald's friends.
I did. So when Father Ubald, I was healed by Jesus in Chicago. When Father Ubald came, through Father Ubald's prayers, Jesus healed me. And so that's how I met Father Ubald. So I said, I must know this wonderful holy man and invite him. So when he would come to America, to Chicago, he would stay with me and I would take care of him, and we would make mass with healing prayers all over Chicago, California, New York. I would take him everywhere. He's so difficult to describe because he was joy. He really had the joy of Jesus in his whole body, in his heart, in his mind. Everything was about Jesus. Jesus was his best friend, and he really taught us about forgiveness and reconciliation. Even in America, we don't know how to forgive. It's very difficult. And so Father Ubald really brought that message of forgiveness and reconciliation to us and really taught us by his example, because he lived it, but taught us how to forgive. He loved the center. He would show me photographs and videos and show me the plans and his vision. And I was supposed to come with him, and I couldn't come. But now I'm here, and I'm seeing why he loved it so much, because he really did love the Center for Peace. And I see now why he loved it so much. It's beautiful. I feel like we are on holy ground. I feel like it's such a sacred space. I feel the love of God here.
I actually, maybe I can share this. Last year I was in Uganda and I was ministering to refugees, Rwandan refugees there, and I didn't know. I didn't know that they were from Rwanda. But I gave a retreat and prayed over people and encouraged them in the gospel. And then here I am now in Rwanda, and I see the hand of God on the progression of things, you know. I believe that Father Ubald's ministry is for both, because all of us have been hurt and all of us have hurt others, and I believe the message of forgiveness, especially at the most basic level, is learning to forgive ourselves, because when you can't love someone else unless you can love yourself. And when I'm very cruel to someone else, it's a sign that I'm actually cruel to myself. Scripture says there is no man meaner than the man who is mean to himself. It says that in the book of Sirach. So I believe that this becoming a person of peace. Saint Seraphim said, when you become a person of peace, thousands around you will just convert. That's amazing. So when we reconcile with ourselves and we allow God to love us, then we can love others. And I believe that Father Ubald is going to help us in his mission, you know, now that he's passed and he's in perfect communion with God. Because I very much believe he's in heaven, you know. I'm sure everyone does. But is that mission, that we become a person of peace, you become a person of peace who lets God love you because you love yourself, let him love you. And then in that intimacy with you that you have with the Father, you can then love others. And that love is powerful. Yeah.
And that were American people telling us about Ubald Rugirangoga. Rwanda and South Africa are set to hold high-level talks aimed at improving relations between the two countries after years of diplomatic tensions. Rwanda's Foreign Minister, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, will meet his South African counterpart, Ronald Lamola, in Pretoria on Wednesday. News in detail.
South Africa has announced that Minister Ronald Lamola will host Rwanda's Foreign Affairs Minister, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, in Pretoria for talks aimed at strengthening ties between the two countries. According to South Africa Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, the meeting is part of ongoing efforts to rebuild and deepen relations between Kigali and Pretoria. The discussions are expected to focus on expanding cooperation in several sectors, including trade, tourism, health, education and security. The meeting comes after years of strained relations between the two nations. Rwanda has repeatedly accused South Africa of hosting individuals and groups seeking to destabilize the country. Tensions also increased over the conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, where South African troops were deployed as part of a regional force supporting the Congress government against the IFM Ventura rebel movement. Relations worsened further in January 2025 when South African President Ramaphosa described Rwanda's defense forces as rebels, a statement that President Paul Kagame strongly rejected. The democratic tensions have affected the cooperation between the two countries, with many Rwandans facing difficulty obtaining visas to South Africa. However, signs of improvement have recently emerged. Last month, President Ramaphosa acknowledged that relations with Rwanda had faced challenges, but stressed the importance of continued dialogue with President Kagame. The upcoming meeting in Pretoria is now being viewed as an important step toward restoring trust and opening a new chapter in relations between Rwanda and South Africa.
As Kamonyi district commemorated families that were completely wiped out during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the governor of southern province of Rwanda, Alice Kayitesi, reminded the Rwandans that they have a responsibility to preserve their national unity. She noted that there are still activities seeking to undermine that unity, including genocide ideology, and stressed the need to reject such actions and report them whenever they are observed so they can be prevented at an early stage. News in detail. Benedetta Zakari, the president of Ibuka in Kamonyi district, said during the commemoration of the families that were exterminated during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in the district that preserving the history of the genocide will continue through the use of technology to archive genocide testimonies. He added that commemorating innocent victims of the genocide against the Tutsi should remain the responsibility of every Rwandan.
Kwibuka imiryango yazimye burundu muri jenoside yakorewe abatutsi mu 1994.
To commemorate exterminated families in genocide against the Tutsi, when the parents and their kids were entirely exterminated, so that the history of those families will be preserved. We must gather and record all genocide-related history, especially to put together the list of names, pictures, and history of those exterminated families.
Amafoto n'amateka y'imibereho y'imiryango yazimye kugira ngo itazima mu bitabo by'isi.
For her part, Alice Kayitesi, the governor of southern province of Rwanda, reminded Rwandans that they have a duty of safeguard the unity, noting that activities including genocide ideology still exist and could undermine the unity of the country if not addressed. She called on citizens to promptly report such activities whenever they encounter them.
Ubumwe bwacu ni amahitamo twahisemo nk'Abanyarwanda.
Our unity is our choice as Rwandans. We must safeguard it, fighting against anything that may destroy it. Because we know the consequences of bad history. They are still bad acts. such as genocide denial and genocide ideology, mistreating survivors, and hiding the whereabouts of victims remains, and other bad acts.
ibikorwa birimo amagambo, ibikorwa bibi birimo ingengabitekerezo ya jenoside, guhohotera abayirokotse, ibikorwa bigamije guhakana no gupfobya jenoside.
Kamonyi district recorded 624 families that were completely wiped out during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. These families lived across all 12 sectors of Kamonyi district. Israel has lifted travel restrictions imposed on Rwanda and Kenya over fears linked to the Ebola outbreak in East Africa. The decision comes just 5 days after the measures were introduced and is being welcomed by both Kigali and Nairobi. However, health authorities across the region remain on high alert as Ebola cases continue to rise in Democratic Republic of the Congo. News in detail.
Israel has officially removed Rwanda and Kenya from the list of countries whose citizens were temporarily barred from entering the country because of concerns over the Ebola outbreak in East Africa. In a statement released on June 15th, Israel's Ministry of Health said the decision followed a new assessment of the health situation in the region. The restrictions had been imposed on June 10th and affected the travelers from Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Under the measures, anyone who had visited these countries within the previous 21 days was also prohibited from entering Israel. Airlines operating from the affected countries were instructed to screen passengers carefully before allowing them to board the flights to Israel. However, Israeli citizens and legal residents were exempt from the restriction. The move had drawn citizens from Kenya, whose government argued that the country had not recorded any Ebola cases and therefore should not have been included in the travel ban. Following Israel's decision to lift the restrictions, Kenyan officials described the move as a positive step in relation between the two countries. Despite the easing of travel measures, health authorities across East Africa, including in Rwanda, continue to strengthen surveillance and prevention efforts to stop the spread of the virus. The current outbreak involves the Bundio strain of Ebola, which was first reported in the Democratic Republic of Congo on May 15th. As of June 13th, the DRC had recorded more than 780 confirmed cases, including 181 deaths. Uganda has also reported 19 cases and 2 deaths, while no other country in the region has officially confirmed infections linked to the outbreak. Authorities say continued vigilance and regional cooperation remain essential to preventing the disease from spreading further. For now, Rwanda and Kenya have regained access to Israel, but the Ebola outbreak in neighboring countries means health monitoring and preventive measures remain a top priority across the region.
Women who belong to a Catholic Action Movement carrying out missionary work in North America say that their pilgrimage to Kibeho at the shrine of Our Lady of the World inspired them to cultivate love among themselves and to help to replace hatred with reconciliation. They are committed to promoting unity and the healing among people who have been divided or living in conflict with one another.
My name is Colette Tumenta. I'm the coordinator for the pilgrims that came to Kibeo. So I am a Catholic woman from the Catholic Women Association, Cameroon, basically North America. We hear A Lady of Kibeo here. It's one of the apparitions where Mary appeared and it was approved by the Vatican. So we said, no, we should pay a visit to Kibeo. I think coming here is a blessing. We as mothers that represented the zone or the CWA mothers from Mary Queen of Heaven zone and around North America, precisely the DMV, we will carry the message we got from the pilgrimage back to other mothers. We were not able to be here today. We'll carry the blessing, we'll carry the message we got that Our Lady of Kibeo left here at Kibeho to we should spread the word, peace, reconciliation, and we should pray the rosary always. Going back here, I think if I had any problems with anybody, I'm going back to do that reconciliation, of which I know reconciliation, it's always a good thing to do, because with reconciliation, you will have peace, you will have love. Without reconciling, then there will be no peace. And peace and love is the most important thing in our Christian life.
After a short commercial break, we are coming back with the international news tonight.
Banyarwanda, rya shuri rikuru ry'abafurere b'abayozefite rikomeje kuba ubukombe mu gushyira ku isoko ry'umurimo abize ubumenyi ngiro bufite ireme.
Iryo nta rindi ni St Joseph Integrated Technical College ryongeye gufungura amarembo ku bashaka kuryigamo.
Banyeshuri, amahitamo ni ayandi. Kugeza abanyeshuri bari kwiyandikisha muri Bachelor of Technology, muri Information Technology cyangwa Construction Technology.
Kwiyandikisha byaratangiye kandi bigeze kuri, dore ko amasomo azatangira ku ya 29 Kamena muri uyu mwaka.
Uwiyandikisha yitwaza inyemezabwishyu y'amafaranga 44,000 by'amafaranga y'u Rwanda, fotokopi y'indangamuntu, diplome iriho umukono wa noteri na transcript z'imyaka 3 kubaje kwiga muri BTech.
St Joseph Integrated Technical College iherereye i Nyamirambo mu mujyi wa Kigali, imbere y'urukiko rw'ubucuruzi. Ku bindi bisobanuro wahamagara nimero iri kuri ekara yawe. St Joseph Integrated Technical College, igisubizo mu bwubatsi n'ikoranabuhanga birambye.
Umubyeyi nyina wa Jambo yaratugendereye Kibeho n'umugisha w'ijuru.
Yabonekeye abakobwa 3, Alphonsine Mumureke,
Natalia Mukamazimaka na Marie Clara Mukangango.
Abaho ubutumwa bugenewe isi yose.
Turahirwa kubona umubyeyi w'ijuru, nyina wa Jambo no kwiyumvira icyo yavuze.
Imyaka 25 irashize hatangajwe ku mugaragaro icyemezo cy'umushumba wa diocese ya Gikongoro gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'Ikibeho.
Hari ku itariki ya 29 Kamena mu mwaka w'2001.
Murararitswe Kibeho ku nguru ya Bikira Mariya ku wa mbere tariki ya 29 Kamena umwaka wa 2026 mu munsi mukuru w'isabukuru y'imyaka 25 yitangazwa ry'icyemezo cya Kiliziya gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'Ikibeho.
Umunsi mukuru uzabanzizwa n'igitaramo cy'abaririmbyi kizabimburirwa n'igitambo cya misa ku cyumweru tariki ya 28 z'ukwezi kwa gatandatu umwaka wa 2026 guhera saa 10.
Nimuze dutaramire nyina wa Jambo, dusangire ibyishimo by'icyemezo cya Kiliziya ko nyina wa Jambo yaje iwacu Ikibeho. Azarababwira ati musenge muhinduke, azarababwira ati nyina wa Jambo.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on dedicated channels, live on SuperSport.
Available with DSTV English Plus. Subscribe now to your package and enjoy all channels for 30 days. Get a Canal Plus HD decoder for only 5,000 francs.
Rero ugiye kutubwira impamvu zatumye hitamo kuza gusaba akazi hano.
Bwa mbere nza gusaba akazi hano nari nabitekerejeho mbabarire murakoze mu by'ukuri numvaga mfite ubushobozi ndetse n'ubushake
so kutiteguye bihagije ni ukutaryama neza. Gonda Farm, le paradis du matelas.
Welcome to international news tonight. His Holiness Pope Leo XIV has said that the climate crisis goes far beyond environmental concerns and is closely linked to social, ethical, and economic challenges. In a video message to the 10th Austrian World Summit in Vienna, the Pope stressed that effective climate action requires addressing issues such as human dignity, fundamental rights, social justice, and solidarity. He explained that faith, hope, and love could serve as guiding principles in responding to the climate crisis. According to the Pope, faith encourages people to protect creation and care for the environment, while many religious traditions view nature as a sacred gift that must be preserved. The Pope also stated that hope remains essential despite growing fears surrounding climate change, environmental degradation, and global instability. He called for stronger international cooperation and expressed confidence that progress could be made through fair and inclusive climate policy. In the United States of America, President Donald Trump says as a part of the U.S. deal to end the war, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Speaking in the G7 summit in France, the U.S. president also criticized Israel's strike on Lebanon, saying that they don't have to knock down an apartment house every time. Pakistan, a key mediator, announced on Sunday that US and Iran had reached agreement, but its contents are yet to be shared. Here is what they have to know. President Trump administration officials said the deal had already been signed electronically by both sides, with a formal ceremony due to take place in Geneva, Switzerland later this week. And that story brings us to the end of our news edition tonight. But before we close, let's go back to the top stories. Five years after the death of Father Ubald Nyiragongo, Americans who knew him remember his love for Jesus and commitment to reconciliation. Rwanda and South Africa are set to hold the high-level talks aimed at improving relations between the two countries. The governor of the southern province of Rwanda, Alice Kayitesi, reminded Rwandans that they have a responsibility to preserve their national unity. In international news, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV has said that the climate crisis goes far beyond environmental concerns and is closely linked to social, ethical, and economic challenges. Thank you once again for being with us tonight. This is PACIS TV English News. My name is Benjamin Kwizera, and I wish you a very fantastic night.